Hey house guests, welcome to today's Big Brother 17 updates and spoilers. Our house guest of the day is Shiffy Diffy. Thank you so much for watching. Been watching forever and it's awesome. So Shiffy Diffy wants to know, what characteristics do I think make someone a good player versus a bad player, and what type of player would I be? Those are all great questions. So first I would say, to be a good player, you definitely have to be flexible. You need to be able to adapt to a lot of different situations, and you need to kind of be able to work with people that you hate. I don't know. I feel like you need to not be afraid to work with people that you might not want to, you know what I mean? Also, I feel like it doesn't hurt to have a lot of charm. Definitely helps with the misting and such. And what makes somebody a bad player? I guess it would be like the opposite. Somebody who's really set in their ways, they have tunnel vision. I think that really messes a lot of people up. That's what I would say. And what type of player would I be? I really have no idea. I hope that I wouldn't be like some sort of coaster or something, but I feel like I would want to lay low for like the first half of the game, and then like people underestimate me, and then I'm just like, hello, for the second half. I feel like that's what I would do, but you never know. I don't know. I feel like people go in the house with plans and then the game starts and everything's a mess, so let me know what you guys would do in the comments. Alright, so yesterday, the house guests were lounging around quite a bit. Here are some highlights. Vanessa painted some dots on her fingernails, and it was like a study aid so she could remember the days or whatever. Steve was trying to get a lot of people to play chess with him. It was sort of successful. And Vanessa, Shelly, and Becky were all studying, you know, like Jedi training, going over the different events in the season for a future competition. Johnny Mac built a tower of cereal boxes. I mean, really riveting things going on in the house. So then, let's talk about the game. Becky was sharing her game plan with Shelly, Clay, and Vanessa. And I love how Becky was like, I'm not even gonna campaign because I'm just not gonna, I don't want to freak people out. But this was like definitely some subtle campaigning here. So she was telling them if she wins HOH this week, she would put up Austin and Steve and then backdoor James. Which is interesting because she told Jackie that she would be targeting Steve if she won the HOH this coming week. So sounds like she's definitely tailoring her targets to her audience, but I don't know. Maybe I honestly don't know which one she was actually telling the truth about. But I'm just thinking, like, she better not be serious with this crap. You need to go after Shelly, Clay, and Vanessa, and Austin, and all them. It's just ridiculous that people don't feel, like, threatened by them. So then Jason was talking to Jackie and Vanessa in the HOH room, and he's, like, really upset that he's going home in general, but then like when you add on top of that, it's so early in the game, it's before the jury, and not only that, he's upset because like obviously we know he's a huge super fan, and all these hoes they found on Tinder are gonna get a jury check and get to help decide who's gonna win this thing. And yes, he said like hoes from Tinder, and I've heard him say that multiple times, and I'm like, really? Like, did they really find some of these people on Tinder? Like, it makes sense, but really? So he's just gonna have to go back to the grocery store, and that's really upsetting, and I feel bad about that. But Vanessa has been like really cool since nominating him. Like, you can tell she's upset about it. I mean, I'm still mad at her for doing it, but at least she's like kind of being nice about it, because she was telling Jason, like, even if you don't get any opportunities job-wise after this is over, like, she's planning on helping him find a job, so that's cool. She wants to hook him up, and I'm sure she's got some crazy connections, so it's good to hear that. But she was also saying, like, oh, it's good that you're going out with your dignity, blah, 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 blah. I guess, you know, it's better than walking around the house with a blanket and sunglasses and all that stuff. So meanwhile, Shelly and Becky were talking in the have-not room, and Becky was explaining her plan a little bit more, how she wants to get rid of James, because then she sees James, like, as the middleman between Meg and Jackie. So once James is gone, she feels like they're going to be able to pull the two of them in, and then they can use Meg and Jackie to go after Austin and the twins, or Us Twins. So, I don't know if that's their actual name or not, but I saw it somewhere and I thought it was cool. So, Becky then proposes this alliance with Shelley, Clay, and Vanessa, and obviously herself, and she already thought of a name. She wants to call them the Generals. Again, this is another repeat name from Big Brother Canada 3. Hello, Bruno and Zach. I would not want to use that name after that. But anyways, no offense, Bruno and Zach. So then after that, she was explaining, like, yeah, it was like something I told Vanessa, how you only tell certain information to your generals and not your army, and blah, 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 blah. So Shelley was like, oh my god, that's so cute. Alright, so then Clay was chatting with Vanessa in the HOH room, and Clay comes up with his own brilliant plan. He's just like, do you think we should throw a vote to Jason to freak people out, mess with people? And Vanessa's just like, no, I don't. She thinks it's too risky because the vote is already potentially very close. Jason could have like 3 votes in James, Meg, and Jackie. So then if they put a hinky vote in there and then somebody else decides to do the same, that's 5 votes and that's enough to stay. So Vanessa's just like, let's not do that. So then Austin comes in the room and he's all freaking giddy because Liz promised him not just a kiss, but a passionate kiss if he wins the HOH this week. And part of me is almost hoping that he will, just so Liz will regret promising that. And then the rest of me is just like, no, like Austin cannot win HOH. It's not worth it. So that happened. Anyway, Shelley tells Clay and Vanessa about her chat with Becky, and Clay is kind of a little bit skeptical about her still. He's like, can we really trust Becky? And Shelley and Vanessa are both saying, like, yes, we can trust her. And then Shelley goes on to explain how Becky wants to have this alliance with them and how she's all like excited about it, and she could tell like she's all bright-eyed when she talks about it, so she thinks it's legit. And she tells them the name, the Generals, and Vanessa's like, well, if she already thought of a name, she must be serious. And I'm like, are you serious? I'm not even gonna go through the alliances that have been named and have failed just on this season alone. We know that's not true, so it's a little ridiculous. But anyway, the house guests did some more bowling last night. Woo! Okay, moving on. Jackie and Austin were chatting in the cabana room. Jackie pulled him aside for a minute. It's time to fake mend those fences. We know these two hate each other. But Jackie apologized for how things went down this week. She's trying to save face just in case Austin wins the HOH. So Austin is like, oh yeah, I know, like no hard feelings. He was saying how he was really only mad at Jason this week for spilling the beans on that conversation that they had together. And Austin was saying how he's just so grateful that he got a second chance in the game this week. And then they both agree that they're not coming after each other. Yeah. Okay. So then Austin immediately reports back to Vanessa, Liz, and Steve about this conversation with Jackie, and he's like, oh yeah, she's so scared, it's total BS, and he's absolutely going after Jackie. I'm sure she's absolutely going after him too, so it was just kind of ridiculous. But then finally, just before 2 a.m., Jason finally makes his pitch to Shelley and Clay to keep him in the house. Did you wait long enough, Jason? Come on. So he was telling them that he would be more loyal than Becky, and him and Meg want to go to the Final Four with Shelley and Clay, and blah, 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 I'll do whatever you want. And then he was saying that Becky mentioned that she would target Shelley and Clay in the double eviction, and I feel like she did actually say that. I feel like she did. But Shelley was just like, no way, like I don't believe she said that, blah, blah, blah. So this goes on for a little while, and then Shelley and Clay were discussing it alone, and the campaigning definitely did not work. They didn't feel like it was very convincing. They felt like he was kind of changing his stories throughout, and it just wasn't, it didn't stick. So then this morning, Jason was campaigning to Steve, tried to act like he wasn't. He was just like, yeah, I don't need your vote because I know I'm a goner anyway, so I just wanted to let you know that Becky is coming after you if she wins the HOH. Again, she did actually say this. She did say to Jackie that Steve is her target, so Steve was just like, thanks. So, poor Jason. The house guests know that this HOH competition is going to be physical. It sounds like Big Brother told them to wear athletic clothing, so that's why they're like, oh, I guess it's going to be a physical competition. So that should be interesting. Tonight is eviction night. Unfortunately, Jason will be going home unless something crazy happens. Hey, where's that BB takeover? We could really use it right now. But other than that, I really hope that Day is going to be in the audience. I think she said she was on Twitter. So hopefully that actually happens. I would love to see those two reunite. And tonight's special because Julia's going to be entering the game, and I'm pretty sure she's going to be totally in the dark to what happened this week because they didn't switch, you know, midweek. So she's probably just like, what's going on? She might still think they're on the block and in trouble, so who knows. But tonight, 2 new HOHs. Let me know who you guys want to see win, and maybe we'll have another Big Brother takeover. I don't know. What's the deal with that? Who knows? But until tomorrow, much love.
Edit.